These are Random Talks
with Liron and Kay, and today we have
the matters.
Yes, they're parents too, like us, but they have more experience than us.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so we learn a lot from them. Yes, and especially because they have had a head start of bringing out children, Kenyan children.
Yeah.
Just two.
Two girls.
He's clarifying.
Two girls in the diaspora, and we're going to be talking about the challenges that we face bringing up children away from home. So tuambie sisi wacha tuanze na sisi. So the challenges that we found at first is just trying to have the mental change that you're coming in a different culture and trying to adapt. And living what you already know and how you, especially because for us, our daughter was born in Kenya and now coming here and she's adapting to a different culture. It was really hard for us, and it was easier for her to adapt to the environment than it was for us. So it's really took us a long time to have that mental change and accepting that we are in a different culture. However, the biggest challenge also is for us now not to lose.
The
good part of, because these children also need an identity. How are they going to identify themselves as Kenyans? And yet they're spending almost 90% of their time
with non-Kenyans.
So how have you guys been able to try, or if you have been able to try and maintain that? Being having them have an identity of where they've come from, knowing that you're Kenyans.
So I'll say it's not easy. For one, it might have been difficult for you guys, but there's an advantage. Kayla grew up in Kenya and is also now growing up here, so she has an idea of the differences that she's seeing. So whenever you're trying to implement some of these things, she already understands where that is coming from. For us, they don't know anything else. They have never experienced any other culture other than what they are seeing here. So then here we are trying to implement some things of how we grew up and how things were being done, which I believe even by now they have changed. So it's a lot of learning as parents, growing up with them, trying to understand that when it comes to kids here, it used to be kids don't talk. Here, you gotta let them express themselves. Whenever you're saying no to something, it's not just a no, it's a no with an explanation. So it's a lot of learning. So they end up being, they make us better people one way or the other, but also there's that conflict. When do we implement? There are some things we just say, hey, as for this one, we are going Kenyan all the way.
No negotiation.
There's that phrase that we use, like, this one is Kenyan. This one we are going to.
And going that Kenyan is what somewhat, dictates what our parenting is going to be like. And we think, as she said, the way I was brought up, the way she was brought up, we never talked back. So I don't expect you to talk back to me. So the parenting style is a derivative of what she and I went through. Back home. So it is, I think, and there can't be a better situation. You guys, you came with her here. From here, now we're trying to get them to go and visit and see what we experienced. So you can see how that whole situation is juxtapositioned there. And so we're looking forward to, now they're of age, they're teens now. They should be able to travel, see the country, understand what that culture looks like, because they know what this one looks like. So it is going to be a more meaningful trip when they get there, and maybe this may be the first of many trips, as we want them to at least now understand and see.
Well, there's a place
So
they
yeah,
have
so when
come
they go there, here, they see their friends and they see their friends' grandparents. Now we're gonna take them there so they can see their grandparents, okay, and hang out with them. They have seen them because the grandparents have come out here as well.
Yeah.
But now,
in the environment.
now you meet them
in the
in the motherland,
in the
basically.
natural
Yeah.
habitat.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where they
So-
will see more people looking like
Yes.
them.
Yes.
True.
Everywhere they wake up in the morning, they see, this,
This is my people.
These are my people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully they will adapt it and like it.
Yeah.
Because, this will be like a culture shock to them.
Oh yeah.
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 Like it was for us when we came here.
Yeah.
You know, when we were growing up, we never thought, oh, I'm black.
Oh.
It's when you arrive here, you realize, oh, I'm black.
Yes.
You know, that never occurred to us. So I can only imagine how it's going to be for them to
Yeah.
actually see a place where there's no difference. They
Yeah.
don't see any difference. But also on top of that, just for them to understand their culture, understand themselves better, so that even when they are relating with their friends, they are able to still stand their ground and also give their friends a glimpse of who they really are, so that they can also appreciate us.
Right. And I think it's a good start of them going back home, because then when they come back, you have something to build on.
Yeah.
Context.
A context to build on.
Not just stories.
Not just stories. Oh, this is what we used to do. We used to go to school. I don't know
Yes.
how many kilometers
Yeah.
they'll tell you that was you. But I think it will give them a context, like you're saying, for when they come back here, they know where to start. And also, probably another thing is, how are we going to build onto that? So that I know it's not easy to take your children every other year home.
It's not,
So that should be the basis, or we should have the basis for something else, to grow something. So what are the areas that you think we should start once that happens? Because we have to start planning early when they come back. How do we make sure that they do not forget these things?
Yeah, so talk to us about the summer camps you were maybe trying to.
Obviously when they come back, it's first of all trying to see what did they glean from that trip. What did you see? What did you feel? It's definitely going to be different. Okay. Some of the things that they see on the internet. You talk about the Mount Kilimanjaros and what have you. They're going to be seeing those things. Most of the times, they've never had a chicken crow in the morning and wake them up. They'll be relying on an iPhone. But there you see the things. You talk about coffee on a farm. Not just at Starbucks. You see the coffee in the farms and things like that. And so there's just a lot of that stuff that I would want to be interested, because this is going to be the first time, and there's going to be a lot to take in, and so when they come back, I would be interested in knowing, okay, what is it that this trip did for you? Okay, we just didn't take you there on a summer vacation. No, there was a reason behind what we're trying to do.
So how can we continue building on that? Because again, like she was mentioning, it's not possible for them to go all the time.
Okay.
But how do we create an environment here that a continuity of what just...
So I know we've taken our kids have attended different summer camps, and in these summer camps they either are set up by some Christian groups, and they go and they learn something there. But I think we can also set our own.
Yes.
Here, because I think Kenyans in the diaspora have a lot of got different things they can bring to a forum like that. So we take our kids and say, hey, we're going to go here, and during this time we're going to learn ABCD about our culture, about our identity, and what have you. Now, some people may say, these are Americans. They're never going to need this identity stuff here. But I think we just can't discard what we had back then. Just say, well, since the Americans, you never know. They may need one time to take off and be on the other end. Opportunities come up in so many places.
That's true.
I have cousins who live in Nigeria, and they were here. So I think we need, as parents, we need to invest ourselves too. Find time to invest in these people, to
I
deposit
like
in
that.
these people.
Yeah, we need to invest. We need to invest our time and our skills, and even all those stories that we talk about being home. Just being able to merge whatever they are going to see, and then when they come back, they'll be able to start understanding, why do you behave the way you
Yes.
behave?
Yeah.
Why do you talk the way you talk? Because they will hear other people talking the way you're talking, and then I think investing is important. We are known to. I think I had one time Pastor Clarence saying that immigrants, we are WWW, work, work, work,
Yeah.
work.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think it's time we start investing our time on our children, in our children, and finding ways to engage them and engage them in a way that represents us. Give them an identity. So, because at the end of the day, we want our children to be Kenyan Americans. We do not want them to be told to they are African Americans.
yeah.
You want them to be Kenyan American.
They have roots.
They have roots somewhere, and probably that's with us. And
Yeah, I was going to say, and if you look at other African communities, African cultures, we have the Nigerians, the Ghanaians, the Tanzanians, and what have you. I know in the metro, Columbus area, they have churches, they have other things that they do. They have, the fairs,
The picnics
the
there,
picnics, and what have you. I believe these are forums where they want to enhance the culture.
Yes.
And most of the kids are also born here.
yeah,
And so it is important that we do that.
right.
What I think is mostly when, as Kenyan community, most of us, I was talking to her another day, and when I observe is like mostly we tend to sink in other people's
Cultures, yeah.
and through our culture, which is not right. When I see people come to Kenya, they still hold their cultures and still respect ours. We should have a purpose to hold our culture wherever we go and respect the culture we found there.
That's true.
For a purpose of our kids to grow up knowing where they came from. Because like he said, we might think our kids will not want nothing to do with where we came from, but that is wrong. That is what you're thinking.
We are in a global. We are in what is it? The globalization. Yeah.
Do you know, like people now are paying to learn Swahili.
Right.
Yeah. Can you?
Our kids can learn Swahili for free. If we,
But they are paying.
Yeah.
and they might even be employed to teach others, and they will make a living out of it. So we as much as we want to sink in other people's culture, let us try and put our culture first.
Yeah.
And also, there's something good. I mean, we are living at such a great time where it's not one culture is right.
Yeah.
So there's something good about our culture. There's something about the culture here, in Nigeria or Tanzania. So if we can expose, and not limit them to a certain, a certain way of living, they are going to really benefit from that.
Yeah.
So again, exposure, intentionality.
Right.
So those camps, actually, what I was thinking about is think about such camps where we start some like that, but it reaches a point where we also they get to invite their friends from
For them
school
to experience,
so that they can also experience our culture.
Yeah.
Then they also have the camps that they go to. If we also volunteer and go there as well and expose our culture to them as well. Can you imagine the world we are trying
So
to
no need to
creating
reinvent the wheel,
Yes.
but try and
Avail ourselves.
avail ourselves
ourselves,
to be able to impact even more people, not just our
small-
we can also impact the bigger population
Correct.
for them
Yeah.
to know, because I'm sure there are a lot of people who are hungry to know.
And they're curious.
Oh, yeah.
They're hungry
Oh, yeah.
and curious to know what is your culture like, because I find that people are interested when you say, oh, they tell you, oh, you have an accent, where are you from?
Yeah.
Then you tell them, they're like, oh, okay, the runners, you know, and then they want to know more about your country.
Yeah.
And they want to know more about, they are fascinated to hear about your culture.
Yeah.
Actually, you remind me of something I was just reading. One of our Kenyans, yeah, an uncle like in Florida. Great things are happening in his village. And what he was saying is this is how the conversation goes, like, oh, I noticed you have an accent. Said, where is it from? I said, I'm glad you asked. I am from Githunguri. Where is Githunguri?
And they'll butcher the name.
Yeah, they'll butcher it, like, where is it? Oh, that's a great question. And starts explaining
yes.
where Githunguri is. What is it? Oh, I'd like to know more about it. Yeah. So, and through all that, his village, they have adopted, people start adopting his village, and you hear the libraries being built, kids are being schooled. So instead of us just taking it as a negative thing,
Yes.
be ready to answer, because there are so many people out here also curious. So it's not coming from a negative place, but there's that curiosity. Let's also be intentional in, be ready to answer.
Be advocates of our
correct.
Advocates of our of where we come from.
I am so proud to be asked about my accent, because that reminds me I know more languages than English.
Yeah, you know
That's
another
why
language.
Before I talk, I have to think in those all languages.
Listen before you.
Translate.
You probably think in Meru, then think in Swahili, then Kenyan English, then now you're like, how is this going to translate into this kind of English?
Yeah.
So so I really like where we're going with this, and I think it is important that we document even when they are going, and of their expectations,
that's cool.
of their expectations, what they want, then on their way what they find, and then when they come back, we're able to ask them, okay, so what did you learn? What are the takeaways? What is it that you liked? What is it that you like to change? Because I think they'll have a culture shock of things that they never thought people go through such things. All the things we talk about, that people have no access to this, no access to this. They'll figure out how good they have it.
True.
And how are we going to build on that for them, knowing that how good they have it? How can they impact the people the people that they find in the villages or the people that they know. So that's the only way we will start building that ownership of people wanting to know about, like what the story you're talking about, Githunguri. So someone say they'll come back with a conviction saying, this is what I saw. I saw it with my 2 eyes. This is what I saw. This is what I want to change.
They'll be more passionate, even within their peers. You'll be surprised some of the projects they'll be able to come up with because of seeing.
And it
Interesting.
will help a few people, or even more people than you would imagine, trying not to show them their culture. So we'll be working on this project.
We
are passionate about it, and we will be working on it, and we'll keep everybody posted. It's a long road that we are planning on.
Easy.
It's not going to be easy, but we are intentional on taking this road and teaching our children where they came from and how they can help other people and be able to be brand ambassadors of where they come from. Where they come from.
That's all that matters.
That's that form of identity. It's a whole topic of identity in this country, but that whole form of identity will help them have an identity of where they come from. And I like what you talked about. They have that passion of who they are. So we'll keep you guys posted on what's gonna be going on. Keep it here. We'll have the matters back.
And also, when we do the camps, we're gonna document them so that you see how they are here. So
how it's going.
How it's going, yes. And with that, bye-bye.
Thank you.